the scorpion, the frog, and the real reason for your self-sabotage. Before I explain why you sabotage yourself without realizing it, as Carl Jung said, let me tell you a story that seems simple, but reveals the human mind better than any psychology textbook. It was night when a frog was preparing to cross the river. The water was still. The moon reflected an unsettling mirror on the dark surface, and everything pointed to a peaceful crossing, until a scorpion appeared on the shore. "Frog, carry me on your back." The frog immediately retreated. "Are you crazy? If I put you on my back, you'll bite me." The scorpion replied in the calmest voice he could muster. "Think about it. If I sting you in the middle of the river, you die, and I die too. It doesn't make sense. I just need to get to the other side." It seemed logical, and, against its own instincts, the frog accepted. They went into the river. The current was gentle. Half the journey was uneventful. The frog even thought, "Perhaps I misjudged the scorpion." But just a few meters from the other bank, the scorpion stung him. The poison spread quickly. The frog, in despair, began to sink and cried out, "But why? We're both going to die." The scorpion, already almost submerged, replied, "I had no choice, and it's in my nature." The two disappeared into the dark waters. This fable is old, but it explains one of the greatest mysteries of the 21st century. Why do you repeat that behavior that hurts you? Why destroy a relationship that was going well? Why would you accept a job you hate? Why do you sabotage opportunities, procrastinate on projects, say yes when you wanted to say no, and invariably end up feeling like you've sunk, along with the scorpion that lives inside you? Carl Jung called this the shadow, everything you hide from yourself, but which continues to decide your life when you least expect it. Let's observe together, in continuous prose, the traps of the scorpion, the invisible monster, and understand how it appears day after day in your story. Do you really believe that with willpower you can change everything at once? How many times did you promise that things would be different? Maybe you just need a chance, you think, but the cycle repeats itself. The scorpion stings in secret at the critical moment, and you are plunged into the same feeling of guilt and frustration. The labyrinth of self-sabotage. The scorpion is not just the external enemy. It's the part of you that works against what you most desire. Sometimes it's an inner voice that whispers doubts and encourages procrastination. At other times, it's a self-preservation instinct distorted by fear. If it goes wrong, at least I'm prepared, you say. But in reality, it's preparing to fail. This mechanism is ancient, built for survival, shaped by traumas, small mistakes, and the need for acceptance within groups, in early relationships, at school, and in the family. The scorpion was useful once. It saved you from childhood pain or rejection. The problem? Never updated. It functions like outdated software, sabotaging the light trying to enter your adult life. The psychology of procrastination and saboteurship. Imagine you have an amazing project. The first few days are filled with excitement. You do research, talk about the future, and feel energy coursing through your veins. As soon as the first obstacle appeared, doubt blocked the way. What if it's not good enough? The voices echo, invisible until the action stops. You find yourself browsing distractedly, avoiding emails, inventing useless emergencies. The project is dragging on, sinking. The scorpion smiles. The same thing happens in relationships. That initial thrill, the passion, the anticipation, after the first argument, or simply the unconscious fear of losing control, you do something that will sabotage the harmony. A small lie, isolation, neglect, an outburst. The scorpion acts by pretending to protect, but poison only destroys. It is the shadow, the unconscious material, acting behind the social masks. Who is your Scorpio? Close your eyes now. Think about the last time you almost succeeded. almost achieved something important, almost found happiness, but one detail, one gesture, one choice sabotaged everything. Which scorpion was it this time? Absurd procrastination? A comment that ruined the relationship? An absence impossible to explain? Write down for yourself what pattern repeats itself. What cycle can't you break? Now notice, this scorpion always acts the same way. He appears, convinces you, manipulates you, and stings you. And you, like the frog, sink with it. The shadow and the individuation process. Jung in action. Carl Jung, while studying patients who suffered from exactly this phenomenon, realized every repressed part, desire, fear, impulse, trauma, becomes shadow. The shadow is the sum of what you reject, deny, and hide. But the stronger the repression, the stronger the shadow. At the critical moment of decision, the shadow takes the wheel. She is the one who says, don't do it, don't try it, don't ask for it, don't say it. She's the one who stings, even knowing that failure will come for both of them. For Jung, healing begins when you look the scorpion in the eye, understand its origin, its function, its language, and accept that it will not run away if it continues to be ignored. The frog and the scorpion inside you. Most people live between two extremes. The kind frog who believes, rationalizes, and tries to save the scorpion, and the dark scorpion who sabotages and destroys. But few learn that both need to exist, and that the secret lies in integrating, not excluding. Denying the scorpion is to live as a hostage to repetition. To deny the frog is to lose hope and compassion. The invitation of the fable, like all myths, is not for a guaranteed happy ending, but for an infinite cycle of self-discovery. The river of life, daily crossing. Every decision is a journey. You wake up, choose projects, create bonds, make promises, take risks. In the early morning, the water is calm. Along the way, inner scorpions emerge. Reservations, resentments, negative voices, unspoken truths. If you ignore your instincts, you repeat history. If you confront, acknowledge, and name the shadow, the transformation begins. Slow, uncomfortable, profound. How do you cross your own river and survive the scorpion? Psychological practice. How to integrate the shadow. Here begin the real exercises, inspired by Jung and adapted to practical life. Daily recognition. Write down your small acts of self-sabotage, emotions, wrong choices, procrastination. Don't judge, just observe. The scorpion needs to be seen before it can be integrated. Honest self-analysis. Ask, why does this pattern repeat itself? When did it start? At what point was it protecting me? And when did it turn into poison? Active acceptance. Instead of excluding it, embrace your shadow. Acknowledge its existence. I'm afraid of failing. I distrust others. I run away from success. Internal dialogue. Talk to your scorpion. Ask him what he wants, where he came from, what it would be like if he no longer acted on autopilot. Therapy and support. Find a safe space to verbalize your shadow self. Support groups, professionals, lucid friends. The shadow only grows in silence. It dissolves in words. Let's travel through lived experiences. Clara, who changed jobs, always quit before getting a promotion. Her scorpion instinct was the fear of success, forged by the belief that she wasn't capable since childhood. Raphael repeatedly betrayed everyone in his relationships, even after promising never to hurt anyone again. The Scorpio, trauma from abandonment, never resolved. Janina, who procrastinated on her creative dreams, blaming a lack of time, but in reality, was sabotaging herself out of fear of judgment. In each story, the narrative changed, but the shadow, always the same, begged to be seen. And you? Which narrative is most like yours? Share, in the comments or quietly to yourself, the name of your scorpion. A cycle that demands transformation. Recognition is the first step. Transformation requires repeating the process. In the next segment, we will build together the path to true integration, the map to cross the river without losing control or hope. Because the nature of a scorpion doesn't change overnight, but a frog can always cease being innocent and become wise. The mirror of your decisions, stop for a second and imagine your days as small river crossings. You almost always believe you are in control, but all it takes is a seductive invitation, a new friendship that stirs up old vices, an opportunity that forces you to ignore your instincts, a choice chronically postponed, and there's the scorpion asking for a ride. You think, this time it will be different. But as always, just a few meters from the shore, the old pattern returns. The poison isn't literal, but it burns. It manifests as anxiety, guilt, fear, low self-esteem, victimhood, and flimsy excuses. And the more you try to rationalize, the more your mind goes into a loop. Is it a lack of willpower? Is it destiny? Is it bad luck? Jung laughs at these dilemmas. What we do not confront within ourselves, we will find as our destiny. The right question isn't, why does this only happen to me? The question is, what part of myself have I not yet seen? The trap of the masks. Perhaps at some point they said that showing weakness was a sign of failure. To admit fear was shameful. To err is human. But to admit the error is worse than the stumble itself. So you lock yourself in a suit of armor, smiling when I wanted to cry, accepting when you wanted to say no. Bring together friends and companions who nurture the old pain, because the comfort zone may be painful, but it's familiar. The scorpion, in this case, wears the clothes of the perfect one. Insensitive executives who sabotage their own rest. Exhausted mothers who blame the world without asking for help. Young people who pretend not to care about anything, but cry out of fear of being abandoned. The mask protects on the outside, but rots on the inside. What masks do you wear to hide the pact you made with your own scorpion? The victim cycle and the secret pleasure of the saboteur. There is a morbid, often silent pleasure in repeating the role of victim. When things fail, there's always an excuse ready. The world is unfair. People don't value me. I tried, but I never succeed. The scorpion loves this narrative because it keeps the frog perpetually innocent. You refuse to take the lead. He complains about his luck, but doesn't analyze the origin of his choices. He seeks solace in repeating his own drama while watching others cross rivers that he only observes from afar. Ultimately, each victim is also their own executioner. By resigning yourself to repeated pain, you unconsciously perpetuate the same cycle. One practical exercise. Think of a recent bad result. How many of the reasons you attributed were external? What did you silently allow or fail to do? And what made all the difference? The myth of absolute self-control. We live in a society that exalts willpower, discipline, and overcoming rationality. Books, coaches, and advertisements promise that all it takes is the will and everything changes. But, as the Fable shows, sometimes wanting isn't enough. The scorpion is not convinced by logic because it inhabits the unconscious, and the unconscious does not listen to orders. It only recognizes symbols, emotions, and stories. Modern psychologists prove the ancient brain, the instinctive one, acts long before the rational mind can justify it. Have you ever picked up your phone knowing you needed to sleep, eaten something knowing you'd regret it, or reacted aggressively without thinking? Therefore, true change is not about suppressing desires, but about engaging in dialogue with them, understanding that there is a logic in chaos, that the shadow does not disappear, but can change its location if it is integrated. Paths to cross the river. Let's build together, step by step, a bridge to deal with self-sabotage, not by fighting the scorpion, but by transforming our relationship with it. 1. Observe without judging. Write down every little act of sabotage you do each day. From I procrastinated to I talked too much, from I played the victim to I ignored an opportunity, without blaming yourself. To write something down is to give it a name, to break the pact of silence. 2. Identify patterns. Every act of self-sabotage has a soundtrack. Specific hours, specific people, fear of judgment, approaching important milestones. Look at your week and mark the points where you always falter. 3. Recognize secondary gains. Self-sabotage almost always brings a secret pleasure. Getting sick to avoid facing a challenge. Giving up early prevents frustration later. Playing the victim to get attention without having to ask. What hidden benefit does repeating this offer you? 4. Accept that making mistakes is part of the process. There is no such thing as perfect change. Even the most lucid frog can falter. But each time you recognize the scorpion's sting beforehand, the instinct begins to awaken. 5. Seek outside support. The shadow survives in secrecy. When you share, with a therapist, a trusted friend, a group, the scorpion gets scared. It needs the darkness to thrive. Ritual of crossing. Integrating the scorpion. The time has come to cross the most difficult part of the river, to look in the mirror without looking away, to acknowledge flaws without hating oneself, to engage in dialogue with the scorpion, not as an enemy, but as a part of oneself. Vulnerability as a bridge deep down. The frog's real fear wasn't crossing the river, it was trusting. Trust your own instincts. Trusting that you could say no and survive rejection. Trust that the scorpion wouldn't destroy you if it were seen, understood, and internalized. True story. Anna spent her childhood believing that she couldn't disappoint anyone. As she grew into adulthood, she compulsively repeated, yes, accepting jobs beyond her limits, getting involved with abusive people, and being unable to refuse favors. One day, on the verge of collapse, he realized he was sick of trying to please others. Self-sabotage had the face of sacrifice. During the healing process, he painted a picture. 2 animals trying to cross a river, but this time the frog imposed a condition. I'll take you if you don't ask me for anything more than I can give. Anna realized that she could be vulnerable and strong at the same time. Every time a scorpion appears, you need to engage in dialogue, not run away. Internal dialogue. The next step is to create a space for conversation with the shade. You can use writing, art, the body, speech, but the essential thing is to ask the scorpion, why do you show up? What are you trying to protect? What would my life be like without you? The artist David, for example, teaches that he draws his own monster before each public exhibition. With each new project, my shadow tries to sabotage me. I give it a name, draw its face, ask it questions. Sometimes I discover that it's just trying to protect me from the fear of failure. In practice, this ritual allows the frog and the scorpion to coexist, not in war, but in negotiation. Mini victories and celebration of the process. Change is not a single victory, but a cycle of small achievements. The first time you understand the pattern, you choose differently. When you can say no without guilt. When you procrastinate less on a project. When someone asks for help and accepts comfort without shame. Every small passage along the river is a celebration. Life rewards self-knowledge, even if the scorpion still appears, because now there is awareness of the cycle. The chest relaxes, sleep improves, a feeling of lightness washes over the limbs, and looking in the mirror no longer feels so heavy. The external context, how the world feeds the scorpion. We live in a culture that feeds scorpions. The you can't make mistakes mentality. The idea of uninterrupted success, insane comparisons on social media, and an avalanche of judgments. The scorpion takes advantage of the toxic environment, posts that display an unrealistic sense of perfection, an impossible standard of beauty or productivity to achieve, competition, urgency, rejection, distraction. Therefore, integrating the shadow also requires filtering out external stimuli. Choose environments that respect flaws, connecting with people who embrace vulnerabilities. Avoid narratives that disregard human complexity. By doing this, the scorpion stops being fed by the collective and becomes merely a messenger of what still needs to be worked on. Recognizing the light in the journey. The journey only begins when the frog realizes that the river is not an obstacle, but a path. The nature of the scorpion, as in the fable, does not need to be denied. It can be understood and redirected. The light emerges when you begin to see yourself as a whole, not only the desire to win, but also the fear of losing, not only the desire to love, but also the fear of rejection, not only discipline, but also laziness, slowness, and pauses. To be light is to accept dual nature. It's about integrating the scorpion, without it needing to sting every time. At the end of the journey, the frog is no longer naive. The scorpion, even though it exists, does not dominate the bridge. The protagonist is the one who observes, questions, acts, and celebrates their own vulnerability. Because only those who consciously navigate this experience learn to build new pacts. The cycle has no end, but now it repeats itself in an upward spiral. Every mistake becomes an insight. Each plot becomes a resting place. Each journey, a mini-cure. Come closer. If you can, share the learning experience, the small victory, the feeling of lightness when you realized you could exist without being dominated by the poison. Share a ritual that helps you on your worst day, whether it's a drawing, a phrase, a request for help, a firm no, or a yes to yourself. Here, every frog can cross its own river, even with a scorpion on its back. Knowing, respecting, and integrating is the profound healing that is within everyone's reach. The other side of the river is behind us, but the journey never truly ends. The frog, now carrying within it the lessons of pain, fear, and attitude, looks back and sees neither the scorpion nor the impulse to trust were solely flaws, solely curses. They were masters. Every time life seems to repeat the same cycle, when poison threatens to paralyze the best in you, it's because there's an invitation there. The invitation is to name one's own cycle, to see where the wound has become protection, to recognize in the scorpion that lives within each of us the exact trait of what finally needs to be embraced, not denied, nor destroyed, but understood. No one crosses every river unscathed, but only those who decide to stop running from their own inner monster begin to experience the power of deciding with clarity, compassion, and strength. It doesn't matter how many banks remain. The essential thing is to know that with each crossing, you return a little more whole. Perhaps there will never be a point where shadow and sabotage disappear from the map. But if one day you notice that the scorpion tried to climb onto your back and you negotiated, set boundaries, listened to the depth of the fear without giving in, celebrate. That in itself is already a miracle. Finally, remember, crossing isn't just about escaping the poison. It's about learning to converse with your own shadow so that it becomes a bridge and not a prison. Your journey starts here. Now the invitation is yours. Stop for a few minutes and ask yourself, which river are you putting off crossing? What pattern of sabotage is still keeping you sinking just a few steps from the shore? Who is the most powerful scorpion in your subconscious? And what was the smallest conscious act of crossing over that you managed this week? Leave your comments below. the name of your scorpion if you wish to name it. A true story of self-sabotage and how you began to recognize the cycle. A personal ritual that helps you look at the shadow without fear. It can be a word, music, practice, a hug, poetry. Share this video podcast text with someone who feels like they're sinking alone. Sometimes all it takes is realizing that the journey is easier when someone names the monster along with them. Subscribe so you don't miss new events. Here you will find other stories, fables, maps of the soul, always unveiling the shadows and mysteries that move each person on this side and the other side of the river. And if you want, challenge the next cycle, a week of self-observation. 1 comment per day sharing a breakthrough. A special thank you to you for always trying to protect me, even if clumsily, because crossing the river even 1,000 times is the only way to discover what you're really made of. Those who go through it together go further and are less alone.